The video is for comments and to provoke thought and discussion. It's not to condemn anyone. Yes, I'm calling your attention to Matthew chapter 24, which Jesus spoke of the end times, and he told you to take heed that no man deceive you, and he spoke of nation rising against nation, pestilences, the beginning of sorrows. He talked about all of these things, which could very well describe today. But one of the interesting things is verse 12. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Now, what is this iniquity thing? Well, as we go to the Strong's Concordance and look up iniquity, the iniquity that he spoke of that abounds is not being subject to Jewish law. Wow, that's amazing. Because today, it seems like even the church has made a point to not be subject to Jewish law. Case in point, under Jewish law, the Sabbath is the seventh day of the week. God was very precise on what the Sabbath should be. But sometime well after the death and resurrection of Jesus, church leaders inadvertently decided to change the Sabbath to Sunday rather than the seventh day of the week. They made it the first day of the week. This would be pretty much the ultimate not being subject to Jewish law, because they've completely set aside the day of the week that God appointed for a meeting with him. Now, if you attend a Christian church, which I've done for basically 35 or more years, and I've attended on Sunday, and you mention this to any of the teachers or learned people, they tell you that it doesn't matter. But apparently it mattered to Jesus, and here's why. In Matthew chapter 7, these are the words of Jesus, and he's speaking of, it looks like he's speaking of the judgment. And he says, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Kind of sounds like the Jewish law, the will of my Father which is in heaven, but let's see some more. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? In thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name have done many wonderful works. Now listen, it's not sinners out there doing these wonderful works. These are the church people. So what is his response to these church people? His response is, and sadly, and then I will profess unto you, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Now this bothered me. I just did not understand this for over 30 years until I learned the meaning of that word right there, iniquity, and how church people could be in this condition. As you look at that word iniquity, what is the iniquity? The iniquity is a refusal to be subject to Jewish law. Jewish law requires worship on the Sabbath. It requires an honoring of God on the Sabbath by not working and by having a meeting or a worship service on the Sabbath. That's the Jewish law, in which the church has completely set this aside. And now I can see what Jesus spoke of on how so many people that wanted to be right with him could be duped and be working iniquity. Don't take man's words. Take the words of Jesus when you settle this for yourself. Should we worship on Sunday or should we worship on the Sabbath and be subject to Jewish law rather than, in the words of Jesus, not me, working iniquity? I'm putting this out there to get you to study your Bibles, people. Let's get to it.